Here's how you can figure out your calorie and macronutrient goals. Welcome back to LiveLeanTV. I'm your host, Jessica Guthrow, and like I talked about in last week's video, today I'm going to share with you how I figure out my calorie goals and then macronutrient breakdowns for myself and for my clients. Now, there are so many different ways to do this, and you'll probably hear a different method from everyone you talk to, but I just wanted to share with you my method and what's been working for me so well for myself and all the clients that I've used this method on. So the first thing you need to do is figure out how many calories you're going to eat per day to reach your fitness goals. So to figure out your calories, you first take your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. And this is sort of a complicated formula. So I use this website right here. It's a BMR calculator. So when you go to this website, you can plug in your gender, your height, and your age, and then you press calculate and it will give you your BMR number. Now this isn't really a complete number because you have to adjust for your activity factor. So if you were just to lay in bed and do nothing, that number would be right, but most people don't live like that. You're up, you're walking around, you're doing things, running errands. So even someone who's considered sedentary would have to adjust that number by 1.2. For most of my clients and for myself, people who are following our Live Lean workout programs, I usually use the activity factor of 1.5. But for other people who maybe have an extremely active job on top of their training, I might use 1.7. Then there's the next step of adjusting for your goal. So another way of doing this is you could put in your goal weight when it asks for your weight in your BMR. But I prefer to do the adjustment after figuring out your maintenance calories for the size that you are right now, because you can figure out just how much you want to tweak it. I usually recommend when you do a surplus or a deficit that it's no more than 20% of your overall total. So usually, like roughly for a 2,000 calorie diet, we're talking about 300 to 400 calorie difference, up or down, depending on if the person wants to lose or gain weight. The reason I like to keep this surplus or deficit smaller like this, only 20% of your daily total, is so that you don't feel overly stuffed or super hungry while you're transitioning to a different weight. This does mean that it's going to take you longer to reach your goal, but slow and steady progress, in my opinion, is much better than fast and fleeting progress. I want you to keep your long-term in mind and realize that living lean is something you start now, but you continue to do forever. So I don't want you to just lose the weight quickly. I want you to lose weight in a sustained manner and make it easier on yourself and your metabolism. This also helps you avoid metabolic damage. The other thing you want to take into account when you're adjusting for your activity and everything is adjust based on your history. So for a lot of the female clients that I work with, they come in with a past history of chronically under eating. Like I'm talking pretty severely. A lot of these women will come to me having been on or are currently on a 1,000 or 1,200 or 1,500 calorie diet, which is not enough food for the average sized female adult human being. So I usually recommend like roughly 2,000 for full-size adults. So you can see if you're only eating 1,000 calories, your metabolism is probably slowed way down. So it's really important. I'm not going to just slap you on a 2,200 calorie diet off the bat. You have to work up to it. So if I find out that low calorie dieting is in a person's history, I will then adjust and drop the calories even further from the maintenance. So instead of just doing that 20% deficit, I will just kind of find a happy medium between what they're used to eating and what they should be eating, and then take steps to slowly build back up to the right amount of food. Now, once you've figured out your starting calorie number, this isn't your permanent number, it's just for now, you then have to figure out what you want your macronutrient breakdown to be. So that means what percentage of proteins, carbs, and fats are you going to have in your diet, and which one of those do you want to be the highest. You should already have an idea of how your body responds to different foods. If you eat a really high fat diet, does it make you feel high energy, low energy? Most people have a good idea of what foods their body responds best to. If you have no idea, then I always recommend starting with an even split of 33% of each macro. Now, another way you can do this is to start with the recommended amount of protein. Most people aren't getting enough protein, so I usually recommend starting with 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. So taking your goal number of what you want your body weight to be, and then 1 gram per pound of that. So just as a rough example, if you want your body to be 120 pounds, then you would start with 120 grams of protein per day. Then you can fill in the rest of your diet with carbs and fats. So 1 gram per pound of body weight is not like a set in stone rule. It's just a good starting point for you to get a feel of what it's like to eat enough protein. And this is for athletes. So this isn't just for average person who doesn't work out. This is for people who are training and need to build and repair lean muscle. You may not need that much protein if you're not working out, but if you are working out, you need probably at least that much and maybe sometimes more. So once you've figured out your calories and macronutrient goals, then you can go back to that other video from last week that I shared about the other steps to meal planning, because figuring out these calorie and macro goals are the #1 thing you need to do to figure out the rest of your meal plan. So tell me down in the comment section below, what did your goals come out to? How many calories should you be having per day to reach your goals, considering your past history? If all of this is too overwhelming to you, we can actually do it for you. We have a custom coaching program here where you can sign up to just have a coach figure out everything for you, and then have a printable meal plan that you can just download, print off, stick it on your fridge, and know exactly how much of which foods to eat to reach your goals. Now, this coaching is customized, so we will take into account your exact size currently, your exact goals, and also your past eating history to ensure that you have the smoothest transition from where you are right now to the body that you want to have. So if you're ready to become a coaching client and have all this work done for you, check it out at liveleantv.com/coaching. And we'll get you started right away. I hope this video was helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions about figuring out your nutritional needs. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Keep living lean.